All right, you may call your next witness.
Today we call Josh Kraner.
Good morning, sir. If you would please make your way to the witness stand, which is up a riser to my right. When you get there, please remain standing. Raise your right hand. My clerk, Teresa, who's on my left, will swear you in.
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you, sir. Please be seated. The first thing I will ask you to do is to state your first and last names for the record and spell each, please.
Joshua Kraner, Joshua, Kraner, Kraner.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Sir, I'm going to direct your attention to November 21st of last year, 2021. Were you at the City of Waukesha Christmas Parade?
Yes, I was.
And were you a participant or a spectator?
Participant.
And what group were you with?
The Waukesha Blazers.
And what was your affiliation with the Waukesha Blazers?
I'm a head coach of the Slammers, which was at the time a 9U baseball team.
Okay. How long had you been involved with the Blazers?
Just a couple months.
Did you have any children that were part of the Blazers program?
Yes, my son.
And how many kids?
Just one.
Okay. So on that day, were you there with your son or daughter?
My son and my wife.
Okay. And you were marching with the Blazers?
Yes.
Do you recall what you were doing? Were you handing out candy, handing out flyers?
We were handing out flyers.
To support the Blazers program?
Yeah, to recruit people for the rookie program.
Okay. What did the Blazers have afloat in the parade?
We had a truck.
Okay. And was it marked with the Blazers logo on it?
Yes.
Do you recall what color it was?
No.
Okay. And where were you in relationship to the truck? Was the truck in front of the people with the Blazers, or was the truck behind the people?
We had players on both sides of the vehicle. I was walking majority in the back of behind the truck during the parade.
Okay. Did there come a time when you heard a commotion behind the truck?
Yes.
Can you describe for the jury what exactly you heard?
I heard screaming.
Now, you were at a parade, so I'm assuming as part of a parade there's normally screaming. Was it something different?
Yes.
Can you describe it?
Horrific.
I'm sorry?
Horrific.
Okay. What did you do?
I turned around to look at what was going on.
What did you see?
I saw a red Ford Escape up on the curb. I saw people throwing themselves out of the way.
Now, when you say you saw the vehicle up on the curb, can you describe that for the jury, what you mean by that?
It wasn't in the roadway.
So I'm assuming that the parade is taking place on Main Street in the city of Waukesha?
Yes.
And the cars and the parade participants would be within the areas between the two curbs?
Yes.
And this car was up on a curb?
What I remember, yes.
Okay. Did you see that car strike any people?
No.
Okay. You saw people running from the area that the car was coming from?
Yes.
What did you do?
I instantly tried to find my son.
How old is your son?
He's 10 now.
9 at the time of the parade?
Yes.
Where was he when you last saw him before looking to your back when you heard the commotion?
He was on the left side of the truck.
Okay. And did you see him when you looked back?
No.
Then what happened?
I was struck by the vehicle.
Where did the vehicle strike you?
I don't remember.
Okay. Did you receive injuries as a result of the vehicle striking you?
Yes.
And what were those injuries?
I couldn't walk. I was in the hospital. I had muscle contusions. I had bone bruises.
Did the vehicle, when it struck you, or after it struck you, did the vehicle continue on with its path of travel down the parade route?
Yes.
Overruled.
And did you see the path it took after striking you?
Yes.
Where did it go?
Forward.
Could you tell if it went straight ahead, swerved one way or the other way?
No.
Overruled. He may answer.
No.
Okay. When you were struck, do you recall if you were to the left of the Blazers truck or if you were still in the middle of the Blazers truck?
I was on the left.
Were you knocked to the ground?
Yes.
What do you recall after the truck went past as you're laying on the ground?
I just remember tires going by.
Going over you or just by you?
When I first recall it, it seemed like it was going over me. But I can't. To be honest with you, I don't know.
Then what did you next recall?
People coming over to me.
Okay. Did you see your son?
No.
Did you eventually meet up with your son while you were still on Main Street?
Yes.
Okay. And was he injured?
No.
I'm going to show you what's been previously received as State's Exhibit 11, and I'm going to ask that be published to the jury, or for the jury.
Go ahead. Will this be part of it, all of it, something else?
It would be probably the first 20 or so seconds.
Okay.
The video is 2 minutes and 29 seconds. And I'm going to start it at 0.
Go ahead.
And so I'm just going to have it play, and then I'm going to ask you some questions.
Just so we clear for the record, the first 20 seconds, right?
I'm going to stop it when it hits the relevant time frame that this witness can testify to.
Go ahead.
Do you see yourself, it's been paused at 18 seconds, do you see yourself in this still shot?
Yes.
Can you circle where you are? Oh, I'm sorry, it's the touch screen. I guess I need to add that part.
That is the pointer. He's not the
Okay.
first person to grab that, so we'll
Okay.
have Pete take it and we'll bring it back to you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, usually they don't like me to have the pointer. I tend to hit people with it. So that's probably why they best left it up there. And that's you marching the parade, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And do you know, was the truck playing any music as the parade was? Did you guys have any sound coming from your area?
I do not remember.
Okay. Do you recall if you heard a horn honking after seeing the red SUV?
No.
You did not hear any horn honking?
No.
Okay. Next, I'm going to show you Exhibit 148, which has been previously admitted into evidence. I'd ask that it be published to the jury. And I would be playing the first 27 seconds of that video.
Go ahead.
And I'm just going to play it through the first time. We can stop it here at 23 seconds. What did you see in that video, sir?
Being struck.
Okay. And that accurately depicts what... .148 again. And playing it, it looks like you're running towards something. And let me play it and then pause it when I see that beginning. Pause. Do you recall what you were running towards?
My son?
Okay. And that would have been where he was at that time of the parade?
Yes, on the left side.
Do you recall where Jackson and Tucker Sparks were at that time?
No.
Okay. nothing further? No, thank you.
And just for the record, you may have said this, but the last pause was at 16 seconds in.
Correct, sorry.
All right, you may take the video down, please. All right, go ahead.
I'm gonna leave that same video.
All right, well, let me know when you need it. Go ahead, you may start your cross.
Can you pull that exhibit up again, 148?
Sure. You want it to the witness or published?
Published.
All right. How much of it do you want played before you ask a question?
The first, what was it, 22, 23 seconds?
All right. 23 is my notes indicate. It's when the state first stopped it. All right, go ahead.
Can you pause it right there? Can you identify for the jury where you are in this video if you see yourself?
The record is paused at 15 seconds.
And for the record, I believe is this the video with the sound? No, this one does not have sound. Okay, just want to make sure I had that accurate. All right, go ahead, Mr. Brooks.
You can unpause it.
Clear the-
All right.
And then it's paused at 21.
Yes, that would be correct. 21 seconds. Do you recall, from just looking at the video, have you seen this video before today?
Just still shots of it, not the video itself.
So it'd be fair to say that this is only your second time seeing this video.
Yes.
Do you, you can take the video down, I'm sorry. Do you recall giving a statement to Officer Copel?
I don't remember the name of the officer.
Do you recall giving a statement to an officer?
An FBI agent? Yes.
Do you recall if you gave them a summary of what you remember, if you actually wrote the statement yourself?
I don't think I wrote it.
Do you recall saying that you needed a walker to assist you in moving?
Yes.
Would it be fair to say that you're moving pretty good these days?
Objections or relevance?
Grounds.
Sustained.
Would it be fair to say that you're walking pretty good as of now?
Objection.
Grounds. You just walked to the
Sustained.
bench.
Not relevant.
Did you also remember stating that you don't remember much from the event?
I do not remember saying that.
And I guess it would be the summary of the report of the statement that you gave to the officer, which I have right here. it says that you stated that you don't remember much from the event, but made it clear that your primary concern was needing to know where your children were after being struck. Would that be fair to say?
Yes.
Do you recall what you did after being struck?
I could not move. I was on the ground.
Do you recall how long before you were moved from your position?
Couple minutes.
Were you helped by someone, or
Yes, 2 people.
and where did they take you?
Into the joke shop.
And from there, did you receive any medical attention?
Yes.
Do you recall where that was?
Memorial Hospital.
You recall who took you to Memorial Hospital?
A squad car.
You remember the officer's name?
No.
Do you recall what date you made the report to the officer? Or the date that you were interviewed, rather?
Which time?
So there was more than one time?
Yes.
Do you recall making or giving an interview, rather, on the 24th of November of 2021?
Yes.
Do you recall what date the other report was taken?
The night of.
Do you remember by whom that night?
An FBI agent.
After being struck, you testified that you saw the vehicle kind of go up on the curb. Would that be fair to say?
Can you ask that again?
What did you see the vehicle do after it struck you?
After it struck me, I continued.
What did you see it do?
Drove off.
Did you see it strike anyone at that point?
No.
Or were you able to get a look at the driver in any way?
No.
A license plate number in any way?
No.
You testified for the jury earlier that you heard screams from behind you before you were struck. Would that be fair to say?
Yes.
Did you see the vehicle approaching at that point? Did you turn to see if anything was approaching at that point, rather?
Yes.
About how far was the vehicle away from you at that time that you observed it?
20 yards.
You were able to make that assumption how?
I'm a coach and we go off yards a lot.
That makes sense. Would it be fair to say that that's relatively close?
Yes.
Close enough for you to see into the vehicle?
I did not see into the vehicle.
So it would be fair to say that at no time during the incident you saw the driver.
No, I did not.
And just so I'm correct for the record, you said that you said that your children were not injured in the incident. Would that be fair to say?
Not physically.
Grounds.
The witness answered it. His answer may stand, so the objection is overruled.
And when you were treated at Memorial Hospital, did you receive any pain medications, Tylenol, ibuprofen, anything like that?
Yes.
Do you recall how long you had to be treated before you were discharged?
1 day.
In the days after the event, did you file any claim whatsoever?
Can you be more descriptive?
Did you file a claim as an injured party?
Yes.
Do you remember who that was with?
No.
So would you consider yourself to be an injured party in this matter?
Absolutely.
So you would consider yourself to be a plaintiff?
Objection.
Grounds.
Sustained on relevance grounds. And under 906.11 as well.
Do you recall who called you to testify in this matter?
The DA?
Can you point out for the jury which DA?
No.
Do you see him in court?
No.
Do you recall the name of the DA that you were referring to?
I got
Judge, as to relevance for this
Grounds.
hearing?
Sustained. He's already indicated that the district attorney's office issued the subpoena.
Well, actually, he said the DA, so that was pretty vague.
Sir, did you mean the district attorney's office?
Yes.
Next question, please.
Were you subpoenaed?
Yes.
Do you recall the name on the subpoena?
Objection.
Grounds.
Sustained.
So to the best of your knowledge, you're not aware of any plaintiff in this matter?
Objection.
Grounds.
Relevance.
Sustained.
To the best of your knowledge, you have never seen the plaintiff in this matter?
Objection.
Grounds.
Relevance.
Sustained.
Have you ever seen or read a complaint in this matter of any kind?
Yes.
Would you state what that was for the record and for the jury?
I just saw the stuff in the news.
And seeing stuff on the news would amount to a complaint?
Sorry, I misheard your question. Can you ask it again?
Have you read or seen a complaint in this matter?
No.
But it would be fair to say, just based on your testimony, that you saw reporting on the incident in the news. Would that be fair to say?
Yes.
Do you recall what you saw in the news?
Just information about the trial.
Did you see anything before the reported trial?
No.
Would it be fair to say that this matter has been going on for quite some time, that there were a lot of reports in the news. Would that be fair to say?
Objection relevance.
Grounds.
Ms. Brooks, unless you can tie it into relevance with this witness, I'm inclined to sustain that
I'm going
objection.
somewhere with it.
Then just ask the question, sir.
Have you yourself seen anything in the news before the scheduled trial in regards to this matter?
Yes.
Can you state for the record and for the jury what that was?
Just information about the trial itself.
Did you at any time see any reports about the alleged defendant at any time?
Mr. Brooks, I'm gonna, under 90611, this is not a witness who identified the driver, so I'm not sure where the relevance is of this. We'll take it up outside the presence of the jury once you're concluded with your questions, and I'll determine if there needs to be more questioning of this witness. Next topic, please.
You testified a few minutes earlier that you really don't remember much after being struck. Do you recall where you were after being struck?
I was on the ground.
And about which area? Was it by the Blazers truck, relatively close to the curb, or about what position?
Near the truck.
Near the Blazers truck.
Yes.
Did you see the vehicle strike anyone before it struck you?
No.
No further questions.
How do you read the record?
Thanks.
Thank you, sir. You may step down. Before he's excused, I'm just going to excuse the jury momentarily. We'll let you know when you can be brought back in. All rise for the jury, please. All right, thank you. Be seated. Mr. Brooks, I cut you off when you were asking questions about what this witness had seen on the news. I'll give you an opportunity to give me an offer of proof as to why you believe that's relevant and specifically as to this witness.
Well, it's relevant because of how close he testified to being away from the vehicle. He testified to being 20 yards away from the vehicle, which is not super close, but it's not far enough that you wouldn't be able to see a driver or see into the car.
Well, so that's an argument, sir. So what questions would you have that you didn't already ask, and how does the news reports relate to that?
Maybe he may have seen the alleged defendant on the news, and maybe that may jog his memory back to if he seen the driver.
But he testified he didn't see the driver. So
He
I'm
also
not really-
testified to never making the comment that he didn't remember the event, but it's clearly in his summary and in his report that he said that. So it's conflicting. His report is conflicting with what he's testifying. So I was trying to get at the credibility of it. That was my whole aim.
What does the news reports have to do with that, sir?
The news reports are relevant just by the sheer amount of reporting that they've been reporting. This has been going on for a year.
That assumes facts, not an evidence, sir. So this witness did not identify you during this trial. This witness testified as to his observations regarding the date in question, his injuries, and other things surrounding what he saw and heard and what he didn't see and hear. So the news reports don't have any bearing on his credibility. The points that you bring up are arguments that you may make if you choose during your closing arguments. But the questions you are asking don't further that theory. So that's why I cut you off, because there was not anything that you were connecting by way of relevance.
With all due respect, Your Honor, a lot of the questions I ask are objected to. It seems like I can't even get to the questions that need to be answered.
Sir, many of your questions go to these sovereign ideas that are frivolous arguments about the plaintiff and all of that. We give you a little bit of leeway. I give you a little bit of leeway on it. But to ask about a claim, because frankly, it's a vague question, and many of these victims may in fact have made a claim with crime victim compensation. And so I think that's potentially relevant. But you may be asking it for a different purpose. I'm allowing it probably for a different purpose than you're anticipating. But the questions about the state and the plaintiff, other than when you talk about and you ask questions about who subpoenaed them, have they reviewed anything in preparation for their testimony, those are all fair game. But other questions are not, and that's why there's an objection, and that's why I rule the way that I do. So ask relevant questions, they'll be answered. So I don't see any need for this witness to be brought back in. I don't believe that witness was on Mr. Brooks's list, so that witness is excused. Who's the next witness?
With all respect, on the record, Your Honor.
I've asked a question of the state. Let them answer, please.
Will I be able to
Mr. Brooks,
bring
let
up-
them answer. Hold on.
So the next witness that we had intended on calling is Detective Mike Carpenter with the Waukesha Police Department, who would provide testimony about his conducting the speed analysis of the vehicle. I don't expect that we'd be able to get through direct. Well, we might be able to get through direct.
I'd like to at least have him start. I want to go closer to the lunch hour today.
So the other issue is that we thought we were going to be breaking for lunch, so he's not in the building right now. We have another witness who is ready, who we could call out of order, but that would be moving into a new topic, a new group along the parade route. So we're fine with whatever the court wants to do.
I'd like to keep going, so I'll defer to you on which witness to call.
And Your Honor, I would just note, I don't believe I asked for it, maybe I did. Jeff Rogers, I know he has remained in the courtroom, he is a victim. Is he excused from his subpoena? He was not an individual who we were provided a subpoena for by Mr. Brooks.
He's excused.
Thank you.
All right, we'll bring the jury back out and you may call.
On the record before you bring the jury.
Quickly, Mr. Brooks.
You made reference to questions I asked and being, you said something to the effect of sovereign things. I don't understand what you mean by that. I have no anticipation on your rulings. I'm not trying to sit here and I got enough work to do on the fly. I'm definitely not trying to sit here and trying to anticipate what will be objected to, what will be ruled on in any way. I'm merely just, it was understood that this would be a whole new thing for me to do. I apologize if I'm not as polished as I should be working on 3 days' time before a trial. We see all the work that I have that I haven't even gone through.
Mr. Brooks, the jury's coming back in.
For the record, I don't consent to that name, and I don't consent to the arguments that the prosecution made. There are relevant questions, as the jury
Mr.
deserves to
Brooks,
know.
please.
The jury deserves to know who the plaintiff is in this matter. I think it's fair to them, if they're to make an informed and intelligent decision, they should know who the plaintiff is.
Sir, your objection's noted for the record.
I ask for a legal finding of fact on that ruling, Your Honor. Or is that a judicial determination, Your Honor?
Thank you, everyone. Please be seated. All right, the state may call its next witness, please.
The state calls Alyssa Gejewski.
All right. Good morning. If you would please make your way to the witness stand, which is on my right. It is up a riser. When you get there, please remain standing. Raise your right hand, and my clerk, Teresa, will swear you in.
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do. Thank you, ma'am. Please have a seat. First thing I will ask you to do is to state your first and last names for the record and then spell each.
Alyssa Gejewski, ALYSSA,
Thank you. Go ahead, your witness.
Thank you. Ms. Gejewski, how old are you?
23.
Do you have any familiarity with a group called the Extreme Dance Group?
Yes.
How do you know that group?
I used to coach there
How long were you a coach for the Extreme Dance Group?
about 4 years.
Can you tell us the time frame where that took place?
Yeah, so probably around 2018 to early 2022.
Where's that dance group headquartered? Where do you hold your practices?
It was at, it's 404 Travis Lane. I don't know Waukesha, so I don't know what road it's off of.
Okay, but it's in Waukesha?
Yes.
All right. And in general, what cities or municipalities did the dancers come from?
Waukesha.
What were the approximate age ranges of the girls that you instructed at Extreme?
Just myself.
The girls who were dancers, how old were they?
So we started at Itty Bitty, which was about 2-ish, and then my team was the oldest, so we went up to 8th grade.
What do you call your team?
So my team was called the Elite Team.
And what's the approximate age range of those girls?
6 to 8, 8th grade.
And you mentioned Itty Bitty was about 2, right?
About 2 to 3.
Are there
I
any
would
groups
say.
between those?
Yeah, so it's Itty Bitty, and then the tiny group, and then the mini group, and then the juniors, and then the elite.
And it's a continuum of age from Itty Bitty all the way up to the elite?
Yes.
Okay. I want to direct your attention to Sunday afternoon, November 21st of 2021. Was your group, the Extreme Dance Group, marching in the Waukesha Christmas Parade that day?
Yes.
And were you present with the group?
Yes.
Were there any other instructors or coaches there?
Yeah, there was just one other,
And who was that?
Jamie Sutton.
Do you remember approximately how many from your dance group were present?
I had about 12. Jamie might have had around 10. Minis was around 4, maybe. Tinies 4, and Itty Bitties, I'm not sure, because they were just in like strollers and stuff with their parents.
When you marched in the parade, were you in a specific formation?
Yes, we were.
And how were the different age groups organized in that formation?
So at the front, it would start oldest and then it would go to youngest. So it would be elite, juniors, minis, tiny, and then the itty bitties with their parents.
Okay. Was there a vehicle or a float associated with your group in the parade?
Yeah, there was a truck.
What kind of truck?
It was,
Pickup truck?
yes, yeah.
What's the objection? Per answer my stand, I'll instruct the state to avoid leading questions.
About how many times did you make it through your routine during that parade?
Objection, irrelevant.
Overruled.
I don't recall.
Was there a certain point when your dancers stopped dancing?
Objection, irrelevant.
Overruled. You may answer.
Yeah, they did stop dancing.
Why?
'Cause there was a car that drove through.
There's cleaners right there.
Thank you.
Some up there. There's also water. You may open one of those.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ms. Gejewski, we're going to put up on the screen for you Exhibit 15. And with the court's permission, this has been received already. I'd ask to publish to the jury as well.
Permission granted.
Do you see the screen in front of you?
Yes.
Do you see a green box with names in it with the label Waukesha Extreme Dance underneath?
Yes.
Do you recognize the names in that green box?
Yes.
You see a black line connecting that green box to a yellow star?
Yes.
Can we scroll down a little bit? Do you recognize the neighborhood in this map?
Kinda, it's downtown.
Downtown Waukesha?
Yeah.
The yellow star that's connected to the Waukesha Extreme Dance names, is that an approximate area where you described the car hitting the girls?
Yeah, right before the 5 points.
Okay, we can take that down, thank you. I'm now going to ask that we project onto the screen for the witness only, exhibit number 33. Let me know when you see the screen in front of you.
I see it.
Okay. I'm going to ask you to just take as much time as you need, read all those names, and then describe for me what we're looking at.
It's the formation that the girls were in.
On the day of the parade?
Yes.
And does that accurately represent where each of those girls were in formation?
Yes.
And you've reviewed a diagram similar to this before your testimony, right?
Yes.
I would move Exhibit 33 into evidence and ask for permission to publish.
Before I allow that, if you could ask her about the non-labeled boxes.
Sure. You can see that there are some boxes on this diagram that don't have names in them, is that right?
Correct.
What do those boxes represent?
Who wasn't injured?
So, but those are people? Those are
Oh, yes.
members of the dance group?
Yes.
But to your knowledge, a box without a name is a person who wasn't hit.
Yes.
Okay. I'll renew my request at this point.
Objection. How is it legal to instruct the prosecution to ask a question that they should already know to ask?
Your objection is noted. It's overruled. Exhibit 33 is received and permission to publish is granted.
Okay, can you, Ms. Gejewski, can you explain for us what the colors mean in this exhibit?
So they're each different team. So the yellow is the elite team, the green is the junior team, and the blue is the mini team. And there is 2 teams behind that, but they didn't have a formation. And that's why only these 3 are on here.
Okay. You testified earlier that you were marching in order of age, so the elites were in the front of the group, right?
Yes.
So the parade route, if we were moving forward, it would be the bottom of this page, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Can we project for the witness only exhibit number 32, please?
Go ahead.
Let me know when you see something on your screen.
I see it.
Okay, we're going to play just a few seconds of this to see if you recognize it. Okay, we'll pause there. We played 19 seconds. Do you recognize this video?
Not this video.
Okay. Do you recognize the truck
Yes.
at this point that we've stopped at?
Yep.
At 19 seconds?
Yeah.
What's the truck?
That's the truck that we had for Extreme.
During the Christmas parade?
Yes.
Did you recognize the people in front of the truck holding the banner?
Objection. The witness stated she doesn't recognize the video. How is it permitted?
Your objection's noted, it's overruled. She may answer the question.
Could you say the question again?
Did you recognize the 2 people holding the banner in front of the truck?
Yes.
Were they affiliated with your group?
Yes.
Let's play a few more seconds just for the witness. And pause there. Pause at 27 seconds. Did you recognize the people coming into the screen from the left?
Yes.
Who are they?
Our dancers.
Does this video appear to be an accurate depiction of your group along the parade route during the Waukesha Christmas Parade?
Yeah.
You may answer.
Yes.
I'd move to admit exhibit number 32 and ask for permission to publish.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. Did you sustain that objection?
I didn't rule on it. Which objection?
That I just objected to?
It was overruled.
Are you making that decision now?
There's been a request by the state to receive Exhibit 32, Mr. Brooks.
I objected.
All right, then your objection's noted. It's overruled.
On what grounds, Your Honor?
Exhibit 32 is received. The foundation has been laid, and permission to publish is granted.
On what grounds, Your Honor?
The record speaks for itself.
On what grounds, Your Honor?
You may play.
There's no audio with this video. We're going to play from the beginning.
How long is the video for the record?
It's 1 minute and 23 seconds.
Thank you.
Pause, please. We've paused at the 35-second mark. Ms. Gejewski, do you remember what you were wearing on your head, if anything at all, that day?
Yeah, I had a bright red hat on.
Do you see yourself in this, at the 35-second mark of this video?
Yes.
That's a touch screen in front of you. Can you use your finger and circle yourself? Okay. And we can clear that, please, Madam Clerk. And we'll resume at the 35-second mark. And we can take that down now. Thank you. So, Ms. Gejewski, let me just clarify. What did we see at the end of that video? You can take some time.
A car going through the parade.
Is that the same vehicle that you remember seeing that day?
Yes.
Do you recall where you were standing at the point that the vehicle started to go through your girls in relation to the rest of the group?
Yeah, in relation to the rest of the group, I was on the side that was with all the names, but I don't remember like what stores I was by.
If you were standing in the middle of your group, were you on the left side or the right side?
Objection, leave.
Overruled, she may answer.
Which way are you looking?
If you're walking down the parade route.
I'm looking towards the truck.
Yep.
I would be on the left side.
And you were towards the front
Yes.
by the elite girls?
Yes.
Okay. I'm now going to ask that we put up for the witness only exhibit number 34. And before we get into questions about this exhibit, I'll go back and ask you about the video we just looked at, exhibit 32. After having watched that video just now in court, does it appear as though that diagram with the names that we looked at, exhibit 33, does it appear as though that diagram was an accurate depiction of where the named girls were positioned at the time the SUV came into the group?
Yes.
I'm sorry, what's the objection?
Hearsay.
Overruled.
Okay. So
You may
now,
answer.
I believe
Yes.
okay. So now we'll put up exhibit 34 for the witness, please. We're just going to play a few seconds to see if you recognize this. Let's do a few more seconds. Okay. Do you recognize this video?
Not the video, but
Do you recognize images from the video?
it's
Objection, hearsay.
Overruled. You may continue answering. I turned it off for the witness
oh
till they can finish.
okay.
Okay. I think we've got the rotation figured out
Okay.
here. We're going to play 5 or 10 seconds again for you just to see if you recognize the video. Okay. Now, do you recognize the video?
Yeah.
What does it show?
The car going through and someone
Is
flying.
that an accurate depiction of the scene as you saw it that day?
Mm-hmm.
Hearsay. She already stated she didn't recognize the video.
This characterizes her testimony. Your objection is overruled. It is not hearsay. You may answer. And if you did answer, if you could just repeat it.
Could you?
Is that video an accurate depiction of the scene as you saw it unfold that day?
Yes.
Your answer may stand. Thank you.
What was the answer?
Yes.
Move exhibit 34 into evidence and request permission to publish.
Exhibit 34 has received permission to publish.
This is a 50-second clip. We're not going to play the whole thing. We're going to play from the beginning to about 12 seconds. We're going to turn the audio on. We've paused at 12 seconds. I'm going to ask that we go back to the beginning, slow it down to 30% speed, we've turned the audio off. We're going to watch that save 12 seconds again. Pause. And I'm going to ask Ms. Gussie to go frame by frame. We paused at 1 second, by the way. Next frame. Next frame. One more. There. We're at a frame at 2 seconds. There's a figure on the bottom, on the left side of the screen, who appears to be wearing black with long hair. You recognize that person?
Yes.
Can you see any features
Mr.
in
Brooks,
there?
that's argumentative. Your objection's noted. It's overruled. You may answer.
Hearsay. Objection for
Not
hearsay.
hearsay. You may answer.
Clear hearsay.
You may answer.
Yes.
Who is that person we're looking at?
Jesselyn.
Can you use the touchscreen in front of you and circle that picture? Circle Jesselyn, please. I'd ask to save the annotation as Exhibit 34A and to move it into evidence.
The annotation has been saved. Exhibit 34A is received.
Ms. Gejewski, when you say Jesselyn, are you referring to Jesselyn Torres?
Yes.
She was a member of your dance group?
Yes, she was on the junior team.
We can take that down. I'm going to ask that we play Exhibit 35 just for the witness. And this is just 8 seconds long, so we'll play the whole thing to see if you recognize it, okay?
Okay.
Do you recognize that video?
Yes.
What does it show?
The car going through.
Through your dance group?
Yes.
Is that an accurate video depicting the events that day?
Yes.
Move Exhibit 35 into evidence and request permission to publish.
Objection.
Exhibit 35 is received. Permission to publish. Granted, your objection is noted for the record.
Again, this is 8 seconds long. We're going to turn the audio on for this video.
Objection still. Is the video, who even took the video? Is it relevant?
Sir, it's not an objection, it's a statement. We can ask questions later.
Not even a witness that took.
Go ahead.
So, Judge, before we begin, I have to step in here and request that Mr. Brooks be instructed to stop making comments under his breath. This witness is very clearly having an emotional and difficult time testifying, and she doesn't need to hear that.
Objection, she can't hear anything I'm saying.
Mr. Brooks, the mics are very good in this courtroom, so please refrain. All right, keep going.
Thank you. So we will begin at the beginning of this video. We'll play the whole thing with audio.
I just want to say one thing. To the extent that there are comments on this video, those comments are not being offered. I would instruct the jury to disregard those in terms of the evidence. It's the video that's important.
For the courtroom, actually. Exhibit 33, the diagram again. And we'd ask to publish for the jury.
Go ahead.
Can we zoom in on the top of the screen here? So, Ms. Gejewski, I'd like to work our way through this name by name based on your recollection of what you saw during the parade that day, okay? So let's start with the first person on the top right, Vivian Urell. You knew Vivian Urell before November 21st, right?
Yes.
And do you recall seeing her either while the SUV was driving through or after?
Objection, hearsay.
It's not hearsay. Overruled.
I saw her after, not during, because I was in the front.
Can you describe the circumstances when you saw her after?
Objection, hearsay.
Mr. Brooks, I'm going to direct your attention to review section 908.01. You have a statute book. Please do that. It's not hearsay. All right, go ahead.
Could you repeat the question?
Can you describe the circumstances of how you saw her and where afterwards?
Yeah, she was on the opposite side of the road, just like in a fetal position.
Did you have any interaction with her?
Yeah, I did. I went in a squad car with her to the hospital.
Which hospital?
I think it's called Waukesha Memorial.
Here in Waukesha?
Yep.
Okay. And did you observe any injuries to her?
Yeah, she had road rash on her chin.
Okay. Next, I want to ask you about Mackenzie Hollingsworth, the first top right green square there. Did you see her as the SUV was coming through?
I didn't see her as the SUV. I
What-
saw her at the hospital.
Waukesha Memorial? Mm-hmm. Can you describe what she looked like?
Sorry, was that a yes? You just said,
Oh.
was that a yes?
Yeah, sorry.
Thank you. That's okay.
Can you describe how she looked at the hospital?
Yeah, she was laying on the ground, and her mom was on her left side of her, and I was on her right, and I was holding her hand, trying to get her to squeeze my hand so she could like stay awake. But she was going in and out of consciousness. She was asleep, and then she would wake up sobbing, and it would just repeat.
I next want to ask you about Alice Urell, so the next green square down on that diagram. Did you see her as the SUV drove through?
I didn't see like her get hit because it was just a blur, but I saw her body on the ground right after, and she's the one that the first person I saw.
Okay. And did you have any interaction with her after the fact?
Yeah, I picked her up as soon as her body was right in front of me. I just picked her up because I didn't know what was about to happen.
What did you think had happened at that point?
I didn't know. I didn't know if there was going to be just a bunch of cars. So I just wanted to get her out of the way.
You've already testified about Jesselyn Torres. The Jesselyn Torres who's named in a green square there, is that the same Jesselyn Torres that you referenced when we watched Exhibit 34?
Yes.
Okay. Moving down the diagram, I'll ask you about Yuretsi Becerra Montes. You recognize that name?
Yes.
Did you see Yuretsi as the SUV came through the group?
I saw her after.
Where did you see her?
Behind the truck on the ground.
Which truck?
The same truck that was driving in front of all the girls.
That black pickup truck?
Yeah.
How close to the truck was she?
At the tailgate.
Was anybody else with her?
Yeah, her, I remember seeing her dad and her sister.
How did she appear to you in that moment? Health-wise?
Just in shock.
Moving down the list to Julia Schlickow, excuse me. Did you see Julia as the SUV was driving through the group?
I didn't see her as the SUV came through. I saw her at the hospital.
At Waukesha Memorial?
Yes.
How did she appear to you when you saw her at Waukesha Memorial?
She wasn't good.
Can you take a little bit of time and then tell us in a little bit more detail?
I was with Kenzie at the time, and at Waukesha Memorial there's a glass, like, wall window, and I saw Julia in a wheelchair by herself with, like, nurses around her, and she was kind of slunched over. She was in and out of consciousness as well, and so I ran over to her and told them her name, and they rushed her in the back because she was not doing well. And then when we got to the back, she started seizing and vomiting.
And you saw this while you were with Kenzie, as you said?
I saw Julia when I was with Kenzie, and then I left and went with Julia, and then we went in the back to a room, and that's when she started seizing and puking.
And just so we can keep the name straight, who's Kenzie?
Mackenzie Hollingsworth.
And moving further down the diagram towards the front, Sam Coelho. You recognize that name?
Yes.
Did you see Sam as the SUV went through the group?
I didn't see her with the SUV.
What about afterwards?
I didn't see her at the hospital either that night.
Do you remember providing a written statement with Detective Mandy Schwartz from the Waukesha Sheriff's Department shortly after this incident?
Yes.
I would ask that we project that statement for the witness only.
Go ahead.
We can go down to page 4, please.
This will be your name, Mark, for identification. What would be your next number?
Believe 149, please.
All right, will be marked Exhibit 149.
Ms. Gejewski, do you see the screen in front of you?
Yes.
Let's scroll down a little further. All right, just to yourself silently, I'd like you to read from where it says saw another to the words so fast. Just read that silently. Let me know when you're done.
I'm done.
Okay. Do you remember writing that or approving that written statement when you met with Detective Schwartz?
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember now?
Hold on, you take that. We'll take that down.
Yeah, we can take that down, please. Sorry. Do you remember now talking about what happened to Sam?
I didn't see Sam. I only saw her dad.
Okay. And you didn't see her in the hospital afterwards?
Not that night, no.
Did you see her in the days following this incident?
Overruled. Answer.
Yeah, as soon as the day she was able to have a visitor, I was there.
When you say visitor, what do you mean? Where was she?
Overruled.
She was at Children's.
Children's Hospital?
Yeah.
Do you know why she was there?
They moved her there just due to her injuries.
And you know she was injured as a result of what?
Overruled. She may answer as to what her knowledge of the injuries were.
Yeah, she was there because she was struck.
We put Exhibit 33 back up for the jury and the witness, please.
I'm sorry, 30?
33, please, the
33. Go
diagram.
ahead.
So, Ms. Gejewski, there's two remaining names there on the diagram, Isabella Bartelt and Maddie Hollingsworth. Did you see either of them as the SUV went through the group?
I did not.
Did you see either of them in the immediate aftermath?
I did not.
Based on their position in that diagram and your review of the video evidence here in court, how would you describe their position in relation to the red SUV that went through the group?
If you're looking at the SUV, they were just to the left of it.
Okay. Do you know whether they were actually struck by the SUV?
I do not.
But based on their positioning, they would have been how close to the SUV in your best estimate?
Just a couple feet.
You're not able to give an accurate estimate about how fast the SUV was traveling at that point, is that right?
I could.
Okay. Well, then please, if you think you can, please tell us how fast do you think it was traveling?
I thought around 55.
The black truck that was part of your group, right? That was about the approximate speed of the rest of the parade?
Yeah.
And was the red SUV traveling faster than the black truck?
Yes.
Okay. That's all I have for direct examination, Your Honor.
All right, then we'll break for lunch. We'll continue with cross-examination after the lunch hour. Please rise for the jury. Your lack of consent is noted for the record. All right, Ms. Gejewski, if you would please make your way back to the witness stand. And as soon as you are there, I will have the jury brought out. All right, go ahead.
On the record, before the jury comes out, I would like to direct Your Honor to a case, United States versus Cotton, 535.
Mr. Brooks, if you have a motion, you need to put it in writing, and then I will address it. I'm not going to deal with any oral motions right now. So if you're asking me to reconsider something, you need to follow the proper procedure.
What is the proper procedure, Your Honor?
I've told you repeatedly what a motion is, so and if it's a reconsideration, 806.07 is the statute I would direct your attention to.
It's not a reconsideration. It's just bringing up the subject matter jurisdiction again. Which
Sir,
still
I've
has
already
yet-
dealt with this repeatedly, so any further times you want me to address it, you need to put it in writing for the court to consider a proper motion with the relief that you're requesting, the legal basis, and the facts upon which you are relying.
I have that here, Your Honor.
Not just simply a case, I want a motion.
I've put in several motions that have yet to be
Sir,
answered.
I've already addressed them, the jury's on its way out. I'm not going to delay the start of this cross-examination for this argument yet again.
It's not
I've
an
already
argument.
addressed it. The fact that it's the afternoon doesn't mean I need to address it again. Jury's coming out.
It's going to continue to be brought up. It's going to continue to be brought up, Your Honor. It hasn't been proven that you have jurisdiction, that this court has jurisdiction. I think it's relevant. Subject matter jurisdiction can't be forfeited or waived. You know that. By not answering, Your Honor,
Please, the jury's coming out.
by not answering, Your Honor, you are agreeing to a tactic agreement. Is that a judicial determination that you don't have to answer? I'll take that as a yes.
Thank you, everyone. Please be seated. All right, Mr. Brooks, you may question the witness if you have any questions for her.
I don't consent to being called that name, as I stated before. I will note that, like that
The
noted for the
defendant can
record.
question the witness then.
Is that noted for the record, Your Honor?
Ask your questions, please.
Is it noted for the record, Your Honor? As you testified to earlier, you were present at the Christmas parade on November 21st of 2021. Would that be fair to say?
Yes.
Do you remember about how long you intended to be at the parade?
Just until we finished the route.
It was a few exhibits that you stated on record that you weren't familiar with seeing. Would that be fair to say?
Once clarified, I did say that I remembered seeing them.
So you saw those videos before today?
Yes.
About how many times do you recall seeing them before today?
Just once.
Do you recall who showed them to you?
Yes.
You stated for the record and for the jury?
Can you repeat that?
Can you state who showed you the videos for the record and for the jury?
Yeah, the state.
And who would you be referring to when you say the state?
The three seated next to you.
Are you referring to the opposite table next to me?
Yes.
Let the record reflect that. She identified the three prosecutors sitting at the prosecution table.
No objection.
The record will so reflect.
Do you recall knowing if you would possibly be called to testify?
Yes.
Were you expecting to testify?
Yes, I got a letter in the mail.
Do you recall if that letter was a subpoena?
Yes, it was a subpoena.
You frequently refer to the vehicle as the car. Do you recall those statements?
Yes.
So, for clarification, what type of vehicle did you see that day? Was it a car?
It was a Ford SUV.
And how were you able to determine the make and model of the vehicle?
Objection. The witness did not describe the model.
Grounds.
Overruled. She may answer the question.
So when I first saw it, I made a point to figure out what car it was, not the license plate. And I knew it was either that an Escape or a Mercury. And then as the vehicle got closer to me, I saw the Ford emblem. That's how I knew it was a Ford.
And during those determinations of the make and model of the vehicle, did you catch a description of the driver?
No, I did not.
Any reason why you would be more focused on the make and model of the vehicle instead of who was driving the vehicle?
I can't tell you why. I just made sure I knew what the vehicle was.
And you didn't try to see if you can spot a license plate at any time?
It all happened way too fast.
So would it be fair to say that it happened fast enough for you to not be able to make out the model and make of the vehicle?
No, I knew exactly what it was.
But not exactly who was driving the vehicle?
No, I did not look who was driving it, just the make.
You stated that you observed some girls from your dance team in the hospital. Would that be fair to say?
Yes.
And you stated that a few of them were laying on the ground?
Yes.
Any idea why they would be laying on the ground in the hospital?
Because there was so many people, there wasn't enough room. So people were standing, sitting, and laying on the ground because the rooms were overflowed.
Were they being attended to at that time?
Nope, because there was too many people.
Did you recall feeling like maybe they should have been attended to, seeing as how they may have been seriously injured?
The nurses were attending to who needed it immediately. The nurses were doing the best they could.
So it would be fair to say that the girls that you observed on the ground weren't of immediate concern to the nurses at that time.
At that time, they weren't.
Were you injured in any way during this incident?
I was not.
And you testified earlier to the approximate speed of the vehicle. Do you recall what your answer was?
Yeah, about 55 miles per hour.
And how were you able to come to that determination?
Because I've drove for a couple of years now, and that's just the number that came to my head. Because when I drive, I know what 55 feels like, and I know what 25 feels like, and that was just my best guess.
So it would be fair to say that you were making an assumption. You didn't know for sure.
Nope. Yeah, that was just my best guess.
You made a reference to a young woman by the name of Sam. Would that be fair to say?
Yes.
And what relation do you have to Sam? Is she just part of the dance group or close friend or?
Yeah, she's part of the dance group, but I became super close with her ever since I started working there.
Do you recall seeing her struck by the vehicle?
No.
Do you remember where she was at the time that you saw the vehicle pass you?
Yes, she was on the front left side if you're looking towards the truck that was in our group. She was on the left side in front, first girl.
Would it be fair to say that from that angle that you would be able to see her if she was struck?
I was turned the other way. She was behind my back.
So you don't know for sure where she was at when the vehicle passed you?
I do. She was in her formation that I had put her in.
Do you know if anyone was standing there or in that position with her at that time?
She has her own spot, and there was girls behind her and next to her, but she would have been the only dancer in her spot.
So it would have been people in her general area, but not directly next to her.
Yeah, they have space in between all of them.
Do you remember what you did immediately after the vehicle passed you?
Yep, I ran to Alice and I picked her up immediately.
In regards to your dance team, did you observe anyone struck?
I just remember seeing bodies in the air, but I can't say I remember seeing a vehicle hit them. I remember seeing bodies in the air and on the ground.
So at that point, it would be fair to say that you didn't know if the people that were on the ground or in the air or whatnot were in fact struck by a vehicle.
Well, I did know it was the vehicle because I turned around and I saw the vehicle coming towards them. And then I think I blacked out until they actually were in the air and on the ground.
By blacked out, what do you mean by that? State that, what that means for the jury and for the record.
So I can't see anything, but I can hear it. So when I say blackout, I mean I can't visualize it, but I can hear it happening.
Was that the first time that you ever had a blackout?
Yeah,
So it's never happened before that day?
never.
Any idea what caused it on that occasion?
No. Stress. Shock.
And you stated that you got into a ambulance and with someone who was struck and then left the parade at that point?
A squad car, yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, a squad. You left at that point.
Yeah.
Do you recall about what time that was?
No.
Do you recall how long you were with the person being transported at that time?
No, I wasn't worried about time.
Do you recall if anyone was walking directly next to you at the time of the incident?
I was walking next to the girls on my team that got struck.
Do you recall walking next to Sam or Sam walking next to you?
No, she was behind me.
Do you recall making the statement that, and this is, I'm guessing, in a summary report given to Detective Schwartz? Do you recall being interviewed by Detective Schwartz?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Do you recall making a statement that Samantha was walking next to you?
No, I don't recall that.
Do you recall making a statement that you did not have enough time to tell Sam to move?
Yes.
And this was the same Sam that you just testified that you did not see struck, correct?
Yeah. Yes, I didn't see her hit.
So it would be fair to say that you made the statement that you didn't have enough time to tell her to move, but didn't actually see what happened to her.
Because she was on the same side as me, and that's why I was saying I didn't have enough time to tell her to move, but I wasn't next to her.
Any idea what may have stopped you from being able to see what happened?
Because I blacked out.
At the point that you blacked out, at that point you didn't see anyone struck. Would that be fair to say?
I don't remember exactly the vehicle hitting, but I just remember bodies flying. I think I kind of try to block it out.
Do you recall making a statement that everything happened so fast,
Yes.
but not fast enough for you to identify the vehicle?
Nope. I remember exactly what the vehicle was.
Do you recall if the vehicle had any damage at that point?
I was only paying attention to what kind of make it was because I could see the body of it was an SUV, and like I said, I thought it was either the make, like the Mercury, or a Ford, and so I was just paying attention to the emblem when the grill got closer and I saw it was a Ford. I wasn't looking for any damage.
About how close would you estimate the vehicle came to you?
I don't know.
Did it get close to you?
I don't know. I blacked out.
Do you remember what side of the road you were on when you blacked out?
Yeah, I was on, if you are looking at the truck, I was on the left side. So if you're walking in the parade, I was on the left side. But I had turned around, and so I was on the right side because I was looking at the vehicle.
So at what point did your memory go fuzzy?
So I turned around and I saw a car or an SUV, and I told myself, "You're crazy. You don't see that." And then all of a sudden, I don't remember anything. I can hear it, and then after, I remember seeing the bodies. So I would say I blacked out from when I saw the vehicle to after it passed.
Any idea how long that may have been, roughly, if you recall?
A second.
So, pretty much like the snap of a finger.
Yeah, because it went by so fast.
And from your recollection, that was quick enough for you to miss anybody being struck.
I blacked out, so I didn't see them physically get hit.
Outside of Detective Schwartz, were you interviewed by any other law enforcement?
No, I only gave that statement, and that was it.
What about at the hospital? Were you interviewed at the hospital?
No, I was not.
Did you call yourself to make a report about what you saw that evening?
No, I went and gave the statement right after I left the hospital, and that was it.
Did you do any follow-up to see if your report was received by anyone in law enforcement?
No.
Did anybody from law enforcement contact you about the statement that you gave?
No.
Do you recall at any time reading or seeing a complaint in this matter?
No.
Do you recall at any time filing any claim in this matter?
No. Are you saying with the police department?
Yes, with the police.
Yeah, no. I just gave a statement, and that was it.
Would you consider yourself a party to this matter?
Objection. Relevance.
Grounds.
Sustained.
On relevance grounds.
Do you recall if you were contacted by the plaintiff in this matter?
Objection.
Grounds.
Relevance.
Grounds.
Overruled, she may answer.
Can you say who the plaintiff is?
I'm asking you, are you aware of the plaintiff? Were you contacted by the plaintiff at any time?
I don't know what the plaintiff is.
The plaintiff would be whoever is bringing the claim for the charges in the matter.
So not. Then yeah.
Objection.
Yeah, what? You were contacted by the plaintiff?
Objection.
She answered yes. I'll answer grounds.
An objection, hold on.
Objection. Move to strike
Grounds.
legal analysis
Grounds.
and the defendant has testified.
I'll sustain the objection. I'll grant the request to strike the question and the answer for the reasons given by the state. You may rephrase if you'd like.
Who were you contacted about testifying?
The state.
And that, I'm assuming the state of Wisconsin, correct?
I just know them as the state. Right there.
Right there, as in referring to the prosecution table,
Correct.
to let the record show that she identified the state as the three attorneys at the prosecution table.
No objection.
Record will so reflect.
And do you recall having a conversation with the state?
Yes.
Would it be fair to say that you would identify the state as the plaintiff in this matter?
Objection. Relevance.
Grounds.
Sustained.
Have you ever had any interactions with the plaintiff in this matter?
Objection.
Grounds.
Relevance.
Sustained.
Do you see the plaintiff in the courtroom today?
Same objection.
Grounds.
Sustained.
Do you even know if there's a plaintiff?
Same objection.
Grounds.
Sustained.
So as far as you know, in your opinion, who would you say is the plaintiff in this matter?
Objection.
Grounds.
Sustained.
Were you present at the parade with any family that day?
No.
Just 1 second. And when you visited the hospital, how did you learn of the injuries to any of your dance team partners?
Which hospital are you referring to?
I only heard you say memorial. You might have said two. I think you said children's one time too. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, that's correct.
I guess I would be referring to memorial.
So the only injury, well, not even injury, I only knew Julia had something wrong with her brain at the time because they saw spinal fluid coming out of her nose.
And were you told that directly from a doctor?
I heard them freaking out and rushing her to a CT scan because I was right next to her, helping them as she seized and vomited.
So you overheard from the nurses what the diagnosis was?
Yes.
What about for Sam?
Are you referring to the night of?
Yes, when I'm guessing you saw her at some point that night.
I did not see her that night.
Did you see her at any point?
I did. I was there at the hospital the first day she was able to have a visitor.
And were you told directly by medical professionals at that time that you were able to see her of any possible injuries?
I wasn't told by them. She actually called me.
Can I strike that answer for hearsay, Your Honor?
No, you asked the question.
But the answer was hearsay.
Would you ask the question?
In the days after the incident, did you have quite a few interactions with the dance team?
Yeah, we tried to keep ourselves busy and we did a lot of things together.
Did you attend any visuals or any memorials or anything like that?
Yes, I did.
Would you stay for the record and for the jury how many?
I believe it was on Monday. I went to that vigil.
And that would be the only one that you attended?
Yeah, that was the only one they had.
Were you aware of things set up financially for the victims?
Can you repeat that?
Were you aware of any for example, like GoFundMe's or donations or anything for the victims? Were you aware of anything like that going on in the days after the incident?
Objection.
Grounds.
Relevance.
Grounds.
Sustained.
You yourself donate to any causes associated with the incident?
I did not.
Are you still currently a member of the dance team?
Can you tell me which one you're referring to.
What is it, stream dancing?
Yeah, I'm not. I do not work there anymore.
And was that decision made by the incident, or was it just a personal decision?
Objection.
Grounds?
Sustained.
You testified earlier to having the blackout and that being the first time that happened. Would that be fair to say?
Yes.
Have you had any blackouts any time since that day?
No.
First and only time would be that day.
Correct.
No further questions.
Can you read your rep?
Yes, thank you. Ms. Gejewski, with respect to that blackout, you testified that you don't have a visual memory of the SUV actually striking any girls that day. Is that right?
Correct.
You testified, however, that you remember what it sounded like.
Mm-hmm.
Describe that.
Yes, sorry. Yes, so it sounded like those big orange construction cones just being hit. That's what I remember it as.
You do have a visual memory of the immediate aftermath of the strike?
I do.
And what is that memory?
Objection. Hearsay.
You may answer. It's overruled.
Just pure chaos. Shoes everywhere, palms everywhere, bodies, people screaming, running around. Just chaos.
When asked on cross-examination what caused your blackout, you said stress and shock. You remember giving that testimony?
Yes.
At any time in your life before November 21st of 2021, had you ever witnessed an SUV drive through a group of young women?
Objection. Hearsay.
Overruled.
Objection. Relevancy.
Overruled. You may answer.
No.
What about any time since November 21st, 2021?
Objection. Relevancy.
Overruled.
No.
That's all we have. Thank you.
Thank you. You may step down. She may.
Thank you. The state will now call Jamie Sutton.